Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the fan carpet.
So it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. So
Where are you?
I'm in London.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, in London.
I was there
So
in December for Content London.
nice. Okay. Do you know if you're coming here for South by Southwest London?
No, I've never been.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
I'd
Well,
love to.
yeah, it was an excellent film. I watched it earlier, so it's an excellent film. Um,
Thank you.
and so you've built a strong reputation as a producer. What changed for you personally to decide to step into the director's chair for the Snake?
Yeah, I started out going to film school with the aspiration, as many people who go to film school, to be a director. That was kind of, I came from a theater background as an actor and then a theater director. So the plan was always directing, but then I ended up getting into production as a way to make a living, and then I ended up falling in love with a couple of scripts that needed producers. So then I ended up just yeah, following that path. But I always missed telling the story from that perspective. And yeah, wanted to give it a shot. And then I ended up talking to Susan, who's been an actor for a really long time. But she had written a couple of scripts and was really keen to produce something. So we bonded over that. She wanted to tell, write a character that she could really sink her teeth into. So that's how it came about.
Yeah, awesome. When you moved from producing to directing, what surprised you the most about your own instincts?
Yeah, I think I really benefited and didn't know this until I was directing, of how being a producer, so you do intimately know what everybody does on a film set for the most part,
Mm,
because you end up interfacing with people and, like, contracts and hiring. And so I think that served me so well. Not that every director wouldn't know that, but I think that the collaborative aspect of directing, where it didn't necessarily always pertain to budgets or cast reports or trying to solve something. I really loved the collaboration on that level, where I could explain something to Kevin, the DP, that, like, I want it to feel like this in the way it looks, and he could just magically, make that happen with his team. I really love that aspect of directing.
awesome. Yeah, and I suppose with the subject matter of this film, you kind of needed to have a woman's eye on there, like controlling the lens, being like to have that authenticity, especially when it comes to
Mhm.
Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, because Susan is the writer and she is Jamie, she had such a quality that she brought to that role. And then, yes, just like shaping the narrative in a way that we wanted Jamie to always feel real and feel like we're not sort of sanitizing her or making her like this femme fatale type that both of us, like, we're trying to get away from. So I think that that collaboration of making sure that Jamie always remained Jamie was a natural one.
Absolutely. It comes from on screen. You've previously said that South by Southwest inspired you early on. What does that mean for you now that you're launching your directorial debut there?
It's really wild. Like, I went to South by Southwest, and I have been to other festivals, but this was the first time where I really felt like the culture of South by, the music and the festival and the programming was so specific and entertainment led, whereas, it just the kind of movies that I'm drawn to. And then I went again a few years later, and it felt like it was, like, even more so that. And I sort of made a promise to myself when I was there that I needed to screen something. And at that time I thought it would be something I would produce. But then when I made The Snake, um I think it was like day 5 where I was like, this feels like a South by movie, but it also felt like a long shot that I didn't want to say to myself because I knew how hard it is, but still committed to giving it a shot. And so created the whole post schedule around it, finished it the day it was due. But yeah, it really does feel like a crazy full circle moment, honestly. Not to be saccharine about it, but it's true. Esther Perel is speaking at South by this year, and I in 2018 had never heard of Esther Perel, but she was speaking, and I stumbled on her panel. And I like it was the first time, and now I'm a massive Esther Perel fan. So it's just like from 2018 to now is really crazy. Yeah.
And the thing is that now that you're in competition, somebody's going to see your film, not have heard of you before, and it's going to be a completely full circle moment and
I
stumble
hope so.
onto your panel.
That would be very sweet. That's kind. Yes, that would be
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. So was there a moment on set where you thought, okay, I'm actually directing this?
Huh. The very first scene that we shot was Susan walking down the street in her cat suit on the phone, her red cat suit. It was the first shot of the movie. And we had talked about that red cat suit so much. We had talked about all the walking shots. And before she arrived on set, I was having a conversation and I looked up and like you said, Susan's very striking, but when she's in a red catsuit and like a Canada Goose parka, I was like, holy shit, this is happening. You know, it was like we had talked for so long and it felt really wild. And again, not to be whatever, but I sort of felt like that every day. It just felt so lucky to be telling this particular story, but just to be telling it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Now speaking of Susan, uh, she's described wanting to write an ungovernable woman, not the male fantasy version. What did you want to protect about Jamie in the directing process?
Yeah, the ungovernable woman pitch was day one. That was the language that she presented to me, and I immediately knew what she meant. Like we wanted her to be a challenge. We wanted her to be chaotic and not what everybody wanted. And so protecting it was mostly like I think executing it in a way that you couldn't take your eyes off her. Like you had to follow along and there wasn't going to be a lot of distraction so that you would ideally kind of understand where she's coming from along that way. Like so yeah, I think it was always trying to keep her at the forefront and while all this stuff is coming at her, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the performances, was there ever a performance that you had to pull back on, or did you encourage pushing it as far as it could go?
Totally encourage pushing it as far as we could go. I think, Jonathan Torrens, who plays Steve, is playing a role that is very against type for him. And I had never seen him play this, but I just like knew he was a really gifted actor. He showed up and he had changed his voice to feel more like Steve, and it was really wild. Dan Petronijevic, who plays Davy Danger, he is like he really pushed that character to the limit. He knew who he was. And so we often had this thing where he'd do a couple takes and then I'd be like, hey, can we try it my way? And then we would like, meet in the middle. So I just like so lucky these actors were so comedic. They were so funny, but they also really honored Susan's script and knew and had done their work on who these people were. Emma Hunter, who plays Laura, like I often had to walk away from the monitor because she was making me laugh so much. She was just like super funny, and the way that she and Susan riffed was like wild. So yeah, I think that everybody really came prepared. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it shows. So obviously there's a bit of a traumatic element that reframes a lot of Jamie's behavior. Was it important for you that her chaos come from damage rather than malice?
Rather than malice, yeah. Yes, I think so. And that was important to Susan as well. And that was, I think, in part of the like threading the needle of the comedy and allowing the that incident in her life that informed a lot of who she is, and also probably was the first fracture with her mother. That actually did have more prominence at the beginning of the movie, and that was an active conversation both at the script stage and then in the edit, that we needed to pull some of that back. So yes, it did, like, really wanted to inform that Jamie, like everybody, does have a story, and that she's coming from an actually genuinely place of just trying to do her best, for sure.
Awesome. So just finally, what does success for the snake look like beyond South by?
I mean, it's a pretty good start in that, like, it is our dream launch, and I think that finding a wider audience. I remember we went to a pitch market for this in 2024 in Berlin, and we were in a room full of like an international delegation, people all over the world, and a lot of women, but a lot of people from different countries were like, "I'm Jamie. There's elements of me and Jamie," and I think that that's like just finding that wider audience who sees elements of themselves. That would be the dream.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me, Jenna. Congratulations with the film, and I wish you all the best with South by and whatever you do next, and maybe a follow up to the snake, because I'm sure there's more stories to tell.
Thank you so much. Really nice to chat with you.
Take care. Bye.
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 Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
You show what you can do. I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still be. Why don't you give me a sign like the sea? Your problem is mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe. A London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear with me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.